which I will read, but I got to tell you, it's tougher to be here tonight and say something than to name all those movies over the last 53 years. That was much easier. Because whatever you say, you see, I've always believed in the writer. And I've always hidden behind the camera and always been in the darkest part of the set and see the magic happen. So for me to have to write something, it's just a speech you write, but it's not what you feel. And maybe I won't read it, and maybe I'll just trust that I've lived long enough and worked long enough that I can say what's in my heart. You can't write what's in your heart. You can't write what's in your heart when you're in a room writing it and not looking at all the youth and not being here in Toronto in this place. It would be a phony to try to write something that you can only feel when you're with these people, when you see all the awards being given out, and when you see a room this size full of people. I started in 1957. We could have had this award dinner if we had awards in the men's room of this hotel. And that's the truth. So to be here tonight and see what an industry has evolved in Toronto, and how proud I am that I was a pioneer. That is like impossible, because tonight they stuck a camera in my face for E.T. and they said, what's it feel like to get a Lifetime Achievement Award? I said, well, they made a mistake, you see. I'm 17 years old. That's how I feel inside. I'm 17 years old, and I don't what kind of Achievement Award could I possibly have? That's the truth. That is the truth, and it's the truth of every creative person in this room. We're all still going to be 17 for the rest of our lives. And here's the other lousy thing about a Lifetime Achievement Award. No creative artist thinks he's ever achieved anything worthwhile. And that is the truth. It's always the next movie. And I'll tell you another thing. Because I was sitting here tonight, I went up with my speech and said, this is shit. Sorry, kids. It's shit. How can you write something of what you feel? How can you do that? It's absolutely impossible. But here's what I want to say, some of the things in my head. I've lived in the United States for 43 years. I'm a dual citizen, American and Canadian. And the biggest test was during the Olympics. Those hockey games, who would I root for? Canada or the U.S.? I'm only going to say one thing. The greatest hero this year for me is Sidney Crosby. And that's what defines what you are. And there's something else that defines what Canadians are, especially those in Toronto interested in the arts. There's something that really defines us. It defined us a lot more in my generation and the ones before, but I'm sure it's affected everyone here. If you're so good, why aren't you in the States? That's what we grew up with. That's what we heard. It was really tough. The first movie I made, that funny little movie, A Dangerous Age, I showed it to the ramp organization owned the Odeon Circuit. And the head guy, I showed it to him. I was very proud of it. Would you play this in Canadian theaters? He said, take it to the garbage dump, throw it away. It's a piece of crap. It will never play in a theater anywhere in the world. Cut. to London, the Gaumont Circuit, owned by the Rank organization. A Dangerous Age was the second feature throughout the whole circuit. On top of that, the main feature was called Sea Fury. How's that for sticking it to that guy? And that is what we grew up with. And it's so funny because we all have a lot of favorite films, and one of them is a Canadian film that was made in the last 3 years that I've seen 20 times. I'm not going to name it. It's not about it. Canada has now arrived to where it should have been. And you should all be proud to be part of this industry that is so, so respected. I was going to tell some stories tonight. Well, here's what I was really going to say, and I don't need notes to say it. My problem is, as a director, you look at all the movies I've made, some were made for love, some were made, I needed a job, a huge family you're going to meet later. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because there's only one thing. A movie isn't made as something, some big thing. It's made day by day. Day by day. Every day, you get there in the morning, you go to the craft table, you get some coffee, you get some donuts, you say to the AD, okay, what do we have to do today? And he goes through this. How are we going to do it? Well, you have to do it. And you do it. And the reason you do it is because you got a crew. Because you got people around you who are as nuts as you are. They don't have a steady job. They don't know there. But to them, this is the greatest thing, making movies. Because guess what? And by movies, I mean TV. I mean everything. Something on your cell phone's a movie. It is the greatest thing to be in this business. To affect people. To do things. I want to tell you one story that just comes to mind. I'm in love with the Marine Corps. Why? I don't know. Just then. Maybe I thought I should have been a Marine and a general and all that. But I love that stuff. Boys in Company C. The greatest thrill I had was not a few good reviews. And I'm not one that's had great reviews in a career. Believe me, not. But the best review I got on that picture, any picture, was I was working on a series in the States on the Marine Corps, and I met a Marine captain. And he said that when we were going into Kuwait in the 1991 Gulf War, I